Hey guys, thanks for checking out the video, and please like, subscribe, and share the video. And if you want to, in the description below, there is a donation link for me to get better stuff in the future so I can provide better content for you guys. That's enough of me wasting your time. Thanks for watching the video. Alright, for Boss B, we do have this kind of scuff team I had made since I used most of my other better units on my first team for Type A. But for Type B, I'm using this team. Using Hilda as more of a tank, Lin Jin as a battery. You definitely need Lin Jin here in my opinion. Roy Burnett as the debuffer. Evelyn Young-Herm as the sustainers. Yumina as the DPS. Xiaolin as the damage checker. And then Swordfighter is also just as DPS in general. So this is basically kind of like the order I want to go in, but I want Lin Jin definitely to be leader. And the boss mechanics for B is a lot more different, and it's a little bit harder in a sense. But for boss B mechanics, they're pretty much similar to boss A, where you need a target in front of it, but the 8-second check will activate if there's no one in front of it. The thing is, the range for the 8-second check is basically higher than Xiaolin's range, so that's basically where it gets to attack you. So you're always going to have this, and you really don't need to worry about it for the most part. There will be a point where you need a target in front of the boss at phase 2, but not because of the 8-second check, but more so that that's where the boss is going to stay for the whole entire fight, because it's a ranged unit, and will basically just completely destroy your ship. And the boss's attack is a single target attack, not AoE nor valid hit heavy, so one unit is enough to tank it, and specifically that's gonna be my Hilda. But yeah, if you do fail to check somehow, basically not playing the game, the beam will be triggered and the boss will move to the next phase. The boss will stay at the end of the map like phase 1 and deal damage to targets at ranged and use the special skill as it comes. So the special skill deploys air mines that land and set in place as proximity. Once detonated, a poison fog will cover your units and deal out some debuffs and damage. So it's basically a poison fog, and it'll just constantly DPS your team. It's pretty annoying, but you should have Evelyn or Young-Herm to support you here. At 218, the boss will trigger a damage check. If failed, will fire a strong beam and then move on to the next phase. So that's your damage check there. I highly recommend using your ship skill here, or just Roy, I guess, if you want to be able to save it. But it's pretty hard for me to actually hit Roy's ultimate in time instead of Lin Jin's, because I need Lin Jin to have her ultimate out. So I just use Roy's anyways before the damage check, but you might need to save Roy's for this. Other than that, phase 2, the boss will walk towards the middle, like phase 1.5, the boss will walk towards the middle like type A. If you drop it at 130 HP bar during this phase, it will not fire the beam, and you'll pretty much be safe for the whole game and just kill at that point. But at phase 2, the boss will stay in the middle of the map for the rest of the game. The ship will be in range for the 8-second check, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. However, you will need a unit to tank the lasers, or else your ship will be decimated. If you succeed damage checking in phase 1, most of your units should be behind it again. So you will likely need to deploy Hilda in front of the boss, or whoever's just frontline unit. At 153, the boss will trigger the ultimate skill. Ultimate skill will trigger or will do moderate amounts of damage to units pretty much on the whole map, and will also sometimes bring your units behind it to the forward. Though you don't necessarily want this, simply because if it happens, then you pretty much are wiped, because you need most of your units to be alive at the end there. However, you can save and time your ultimate skill to iframe through the boss's ultimate skill, but I don't think it's necessary since you need to save it for the 130-second damage check. Obviously, if you fail the damage check, it will move on to the next phase. Now, if you drop the boss to 130 HP bar before the second damage check at 130 during phase 2, it will immediately fire a strong beam, and this will likely end up in your units dying and your ship being destroyed by the boss. But I think you should actually have your team get wiped, simply because you need to have 1/3 of your HP bar deleted in a sense. So the boss will always fire a beam at 1/3 HP, wiping majority of your team unless your units are far away enough behind it. But Lin Jin can redeploy units right after it, so or you can like save 10 deployment points. So I highly suggest actually letting your team get wiped, but you need to hit the boss to 1/3 HP before the second damage check. Because if you hit the second damage check, then you just like do a completely different method. But I think the earlier you get it to 1/3 HP, as long as you have points saved up, the better. Simply because it will always happen, so there's no reason to do the second damage check because it's pretty hard to do. And if you don't have enough damage, you'll probably have to get the second damage check lasered anyways. But that means you're gonna get lasered twice, and there's no reason to. You can just ignore the 130 damage check as long as you can kill the boss to 1/3 HP bar right away. In phase 3 enrage mode, the boss will enrage at 1/3 HP bar and start blasting the units in front of your ship. In a sense. But you want to make sure your units are able to tank it or else your ship will be destroyed. But this isn't really the biggest part of it, as he will stay in the middle of the map, like in phase 2. He is a ranger, so he won't move towards your ship. So during this phase, there will be multiple damage checks. During these damage checks, mod type B will hold on to the farthest targets and start blasting them with basically what looks like a green stellar S1 over and over, so that AoE damage will kill your units quickly if they're grouped, no matter what basically. So you can put your tank farther away from the boss this way to tank, no matter where you are on the map. It will get hit that way. And you have to complete these damage checks over and over until the boss hits 0 HP. There will be continuous damage checks, so there's no way to avoid it basically. That's pretty much it for the most part, and I'll try to demonstrate it, but it's pretty rough with this scuff team. I think it's already a wipe. Simply because I fucked up, but if Lin Jin lives here, then maybe. But I don't think she will. Yeah, she's not. I'll try and get a decent run in, but it's pretty scuffed with a little bit less gear than what I had on my type A team. I wanted to deploy Hilda first, and then Roy, and then Lin Jin, because Lin Jin's pretty damn squishy. Then I want to do Pod, because it actually lowers his attack by a bit, and his attack speed, so it lowers the DPS on my Hilda. I do want Hilda alive this whole time. Bit of RNG right there, sadly, so my units did get knocked up there, which is really annoying. I'm gonna activate my ult here, do a little bit extra damage, Lin Jin ult as well, turn off ultimate, and put in Yumina. So if my Hilda dies there, I have to actually restart, because I need her for the second phase, and I can't let her die basically. I also need her for the damage check, as she provides a attack buff for the damage check. So if she dies, it's pretty much a wipe. Definitely, if you have Chifuyu, or Chifuyu and Roy in the same team, this challenge will be super easy for you. If you also have Shinjia, this will also be pretty easy. But you'd have to build multiple for them, unless you don't want to do type A. But I think type A also needs to use in Shinjia and Chifuyu, simply because it is buffed. So that's that, for the most part. Right here, I'm going to activate the ults. Put in Yumina. Ults again. Hold a little bit more healthy this time, since I actually did get the stuff off. So right here, I'm going to want to ulti at 222 for the damage buff. Damage taken, receive debuff on the boss. And also deploy Xiaolin for the damage check. I also want to activate Evelyn's ulti as soon as possible for the damage buff to succeed the damage check. So Xiaolin deploy and activate the Evelyn buff as soon as possible, and Yang Herin buff, and succeed the damage check right there. So all those damage buffs definitely helped, and it's really hard to hit that damage check if you don't have Chifuyu. But it will be this way. I'm going to redeploy Hilda here, since I do need a tank in the front. or else my ship, as you can see, just got decimated right there. Now, a lucky thing here is if this ultimate right here doesn't knock back my team towards the front. If it does happen, then I'm pretty much screwed. So it seems like I'm fine for the most part, which is really good, and that no one really took that much damage. I'm gonna save my pod skill for the 130 check, but right here I'm basically waiting for the 130 check. If my Hilda doesn't die, I might be able to use her stuff for the damage check as well. Oh, she did die though. Oof. That's pretty annoying. But I'm gonna just let this happen, and hopefully at the damage check, like right here, I'm gonna activate the ults, and then activate this ult, then activate pod. Hopefully I can succeed the damage check, but it's pretty damn hard to hit. I think if I kept my Hilda alive, I might have been able to do it, but it's pretty much gonna result in a team wipe. This part's pretty hard to pull off, but it has that 130 HP bar, which isn't that bad. Actually, it's what I wanted to happen. And I'm not sure if it's going to do another laser beam. It will, so I might be able to succeed here. Even though my fucking HP is pretty bad. All my units are wiped, so this is actually pretty good. Because my Roy is still here, still alive. And I have my ultimate on Lin Jin. So if I do this right, I can get most of my units back up and hopefully perform this damage check as soon as possible. I do want to have my tank in the back here, hopefully doing the damage. The damage checks will keep coming in, so hopefully I can get this in. Damage check is succeeded, I believe. And then I'm gonna have to do another one. That's fine. I'm gonna keep putting Lin Jin over here so she keeps getting blasted. Put Roy over here so he keeps getting blasted. Put Young Harim here so he keeps getting blasted. Ultimate came back out, which is really annoying. But yeah, that's the closest I could do to a not so perfect run, but it was pretty close. But that's basically this boss, and it's pretty fucking annoying if you don't have Chifuyu to do all that damage. It's definitely easier if you have DPS units, but my team definitely didn't have that much of a chance there. If I didn't get wiped by that second HP bar, my ship would have had a little bit more HP, but it was pretty annoying when it happened. So you saw there that there was 2 laser beams. As I said, it reduced to 130 HP bar. It's definitely recommended if you are able to hit the boss to 1/3 HP bar before the second damage check. If not, you're kind of just wasting units in a sense. So definitely want to hit it before it hits the 130 mark. Other than that, that's pretty much it for Type B. This is a team I use. I did clear it once off of pure RNG, but it is what it is. The rankings are pretty much outdated. It's pretty glitched, so I don't know what place I actually am, but I'm probably somewhere around the top 100s. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the most part. That is Type B, and I'll see you guys later.